राधे राधे दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका एक और बुक रीडिंग सेशन के अंदर। हम बुक पढ़ रहे हैं द पैलेस ऑफ इल्यूजन। कल हमने चैप्टर पढ़ा था कॉस्मोटोलॉजी। क्यों था उस चैप्टर का नाम कॉस्मोटोलॉजी, मैंने वीडियो में बताया है, आप एक बार जाके देख लेना। तो आज हम जो चैप्टर पढ़ने जा रहे हैं उसका नाम है, एक सेकेंड, स्मोक। तो क्यों है इस चैप्टर का नाम स्मोक, ये हमें आज पता चल जाएगा। हमने 4 चैप्टर पढ़ लिए हैं ऑलरेडी, फायर, मिल्क एंड देन एक फायर था, एक मिल्क था, और एक था ब्लू। तो फायर, ब्लू, मिल्क, कॉस्मेटोलॉजी हमने पढ़ लिया। कॉस्मेटोलॉजी में थोड़ा सा एक थिंकिंग के बारे में बताया गया है। द्रौपदी की थिंकिंग किस तरीके की थी, किस तरफ को थी, कितनी फ्यूचरिस्टिक थिंकिंग थी उनकी कंपेयर टू द टाइम, और कैसे उनकी एजुकेशन को लेके सारा जो किस्सा चला था। और दुनिया के बारे में बताया गया कि शेषनाग जी के बारे में बताया गया, और कैसे धरती कहाँ पे है, विष्णु भगवान कहाँ पे है, वो सारी चीज़ों के बारे में थोड़ा सा बताया गया। तो इसलिए उस चैप्टर का नाम था कॉस्मेटोलॉजी। इस चैप्टर का नाम स्मोक है। क्यों है अभी हमें पता चल जाएगा। Early in my life, I learned to eavesdrop. I was driven to this I was driven to this ignoble practice because people seldom told me anything worth knowing. My attendants were trained to speak in elaborate flatteries. My father's wives avoided me. King Draupad only met me when in settings designed to discourage uncomfortable questions. Dheer never lied, but he often kept things from me, believing it's his brotherly duty to shield me from the unpleasant facts. Though Daima had no such qualms, she had the unfortunate habit of mixing up what actually happened with things that, in her opinion, should have occurred. Krishna was the only one who told me the truth, but he wasn't with me often enough. So I took the eavesdropping and found it a most useful practice. It worked best when I appeared engrossed in some mindless activities such as embroidery or pretending to sleep. I was amazed at all the things I learned in this manner. It was how I discovered the sage. तो बता रही हैं कि उन्होंने एक जो है स्किल डेवलप कर लिया था कि छुप के बात सुनना, और साथ में वाले को पता भी नहीं लगता था कि वो इनकी बात सुन रही हैं। तो प्रिटेंड करती थी कि वो कोई और काम कर रही हैं, बट असल में वो उनकी बातें सुन रही होती थी। क्यों किया उन्होंने ऐसा? क्योंकि उन्हें कोई भी जो है बातें बताता नहीं था। दाई माँ सच में अपना इमेजिनेशन मिक्स कर देती। धीर प्रोटेक्शन के चक्कर में बताता नहीं था। फादर तो वैसे ही बात नहीं करते हैं। तो उनके पास जो है ना कोई बातें पहुंचती नहीं थी कि देश दुनिया में चल क्या रहा है, जिसकी वजह से उन्होंने ये जो है कला डेवलप कर ली थी, और ये कला उनके बहुत ज्यादा काम आई। और यहाँ पे एक बात हो रही है सेज की। अब कौन है ये सेज? द Sarini Dheer was braiding my hair in the Five River design when I heard one of the maids say in a squeaky, excited whisper, and he promised I'll be married on full moon day in the month of Shravan. So Daima responded scathingly from the next room, where she was setting out my clothes. Fortune tellers are always predicting weddings. They know that's what foolish girls want to hear most. That's how they get fatter fees. No, 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 respected aunt. This sadhu didn't take any money. Also, he didn't just make vague promises. He said I'd marry a man who tends the king's animals. And as you know, Nandaram, who works in the stables, he had been quoting me. Didn't I show you the silver armband he gave me last month? It's long leave from armband to the wedding fire, girl. Come Shravan, we'll see how accurate your holy man was. Now set out the blue silk sari carefully and watch how you handle the princess breast cloth. You are crushing it. तो दाइमा बोलती ये लोग बस अपने पैसे चल लेने के चक्कर में शादी के बारे में बोलते रहते हैं, क्योंकि इन्हें पता है कि यंग लड़कियों को शादी के अलावा और कुछ सूझता नहीं है, तुम अपना काम ध्यान से करो। और वो बोलती है कि नहीं नहीं, उन्होंने मुझे एग्जैक्टली बंदे के बारे में बता दिया कि इस बंदे से तुम्हारी बात शादी होने वाली है श्रावण में, और ये बंदा जो है मेरे पे मतलब ट्राई भी कर रहा है। ओके, but he told me about my past too. The maid insisted. Accidents and illness I had when I was a girl. The year my mother died and what her last words were. He even knew about the time Nand and I hear her voice deeply, shyly, leaving me to guess at details. You don't say, Daima sounded intrigued. Maybe I'll go see him. Ask him if that good for nothing Kalu will ever change his ways, and if not, what I must do to be rid of him. What did you say the Babaji's name was? I didn't ask. Truth to tell, he scared me with a beard that covered his whole face, glittery red eyes. He looked like he could put a curse on you if you made him angry. Princess, my Srinidhi said, booing, your hair is done. Does it please you? I pick up the heavy silver backed mirror while she held and other one behind my head. The five stranded braids hung glossily drawn my back, sparking with gold pins. I could smell the fragrance of Amarnath's woven into it. It was beautiful, but it only made me dissatisfied. What use was all this dressing up when there was no one to admire me? I felt as though I were drowning in a backwater pond while everything important in the world was happening elsewhere. What if the prophecy at my birth was wrong? Or what if prophecies only become true if you did something about them? I decided that I'd accompany Daima to the holy man. तो यहाँ पे जो है उनकी जो गुत्त बना रही थी उनकी दासी, उन्होंने जो बात कही उससे जो है द्रौपदी को बहुत ज़्यादा एक झटका सा लगा और उन्होंने डिसाइड कर लिया कि मैं भी दाई माँ के साथ इस सेज के पास जाऊंगी. Absolutely not, Daima exclaimed. Your royal father will have my head, or at the very least my job. If I take you outside the palace, do you want your poor old nurse to starve by the roadside in her old age? You won't starve, I said. Kalu will take care of you. Who? That no good drunkard? That beside, I interjected deftly. My father doesn't have to know. I'll dress up as a servant maid. We can just walk to. You walk on the common road where every man can look into your face. Don't you know that women of Panchal royal family are supposed to remain hidden even from the gaze of the sun? You can get me a veil, it'll protect me from men and sunshine both at once. Never. I was reduced to pleading, please, Daima, it's my one chance to know what my future holds. I can tell you what your future holds. Severe punishment from your royal father and a new Daima, since this one's life will be प्रीमेच्योरली टर्मिनेटेड. तो यहाँ पे द्रौपदी और दाइमा की बहस चल रही है. द्रौपदी उनसे प्लीड कर रही हैं, मिन्नतें कर रही हैं कि मुझे प्लीज उस सेज के पास ले जाओ, पर दाइमा जो है रिलक्टेंट है, वो मना कर रही हैं. वो बोल रही हैं भैया तुम रहने दो, तुम्हारी जान तो जाएगी जाएगी, मेरी नौकरी और मेरी जान भी साथ में जाएगी. But because I was the closest thing she had to a daughter, or because she sensed the desperation beneath my cajolery, or maybe because she was too curious, she finally relented. तो वो मान ही गई हैं finally. Swathed in one of Daima's veils and a skirt served size too large, I knelt in front of the sage, touching my head awkwardly to the ground. My entire body ached. To get to the banyan grove where the sage was residing, we had to ride in palanquin through the city, then cross a lake on a leaking ferry boat, then sit for hours on a rickety bullock cart. It taught me a new respect for the hardiness of the commoners. I was startled by a rumble like thundercloud. The sage was laughing. He didn't look too frightening. In his lined, crack faced, his eyes shone mischievously. Not bad for a princess. How did you know? I said in chagrin. I'd have to be blind not to see through such terrible disguise. At least the old woman could have given you some clothes that fit, but enough of that. Eager to learn your future, are you? Did you ever think how monotonous your life would be if you could see all that was coming to you? तो ये एक लाइन जो है ना बहुत ज़्यादा डीप है. हर किसी को अपना फ्यूचर जानना है, हर किसी को भविष्य के बारे में जानना है, पर एक बार सोच के देखो, अगर तुम्हें पहले ही पता है कि आगे क्या होने वाला है तो आपकी लाइफ कितनी ज़्यादा बोरिंग और मोनोटोनस होने वाली है. Believe me, I know. However, I'll oblige you both in some part. You first, old woman. He informed a delighted Daima that Kallu would perish soon in a drunken brawl, and that she'd accompany me to my new place after marriage, and that she'd bring up my 5 children. You'll die old and rich and cantankerous as ever and happy, because you'll be gone before the worst happen. Sadhu Baba Daima asked in concern, what do you mean by the worst? No more, he snapped, his eyes running tawny, making her cover. Princess, if you want your questions answered, you must step inside the circle. I hadn't noticed the thin line eased into the ground around him. Daima grabbed at my skirt, whispering about witchcraft, but I didn't hesitate. Inside the circle, the earth felt hot against my blistered soles. Brave, huh? He said. That's good, you'll need it. He threw a handful of powder onto a small fire. A thick smoke rose until I couldn't see anything outside the circle. What's that? I gasped, curious too. His voice was approving. I made it myself from raisins and neem leaves and a few other selected ingredients. It keeps the mosquitoes away. In the smoke, shapes human like yet not human rose and fell as thought caught in a wind grunt. What are those? To my embarrassment, my voice trembled. Ah, that's the other thing the mixture does. Call up the spirits. You may ask them your questions. Far within the banyan grove, I heard a jackal howl. Coldness passed over my skin like ghost breath. For the last few days, I had been longing for this moment. Why then did a strange, reluctant silence me now? It came to me that I didn't trust the sage enough to reveal to him my secret desires. Later, I would wonder, was it because of this lack of faith that the spirits answered me so obliquely in riddles that were more hindrance than help? Scared princess, the sage taunted. Maybe you better step out and return to your safe place. No, I cried. Ask your spirits if I will get what I desire. A smile, feral or condescending, glinting through the sage's beard. And do you even know what that is, child? तो पहले तो वो डर गई, उस सर्कल के अंदर पैर रख के पूरा धुआं हो गया, तो उन्होंने पूछा है धुआं किस चीज का है और ये क्या चल रहा है। तो वहां पे स्पिरिट्स आ गई और बहुत अजीबोगरीब माहौल हो गया और थोड़ा सा वो घबराने लगी, उनकी आवाज में डर आ गया, पर फाइनली उन्होंने थोड़ी सी हिम्मत दिखा के अपना क्वेश्चन पूछ ही लिया। Stung, I retorted, I am no child and do know what I want. I want to leave a mark on history as was promised to me at my birth. Very commendable, but there are other things, perhaps unknown to you, that you crave more. No matter, the spirits will see into your heart and answer accordingly. He clapped his hands and spirits swirled faster. Yellow whispers came to me through the smoke. You will marry the 5 greatest heroes of your time. तो यहाँ पे उनका आ गया पहला कि you will marry the 5 greatest heroes of your time. You will be queen of queens, okay, envied even by the goddesses. You will be a servant maid. You will be mistress of the most magical of palaces and then lose it. तो यहाँ पे उन्होंने बता दिया कि तुम सबसे ग्रेट जो हिस्ट्री के 5 हीरोज हैं उनसे शादी करोगी, तुम क्वींस ऑफ क्वीन होगी, और सडनली सेकंड लाइन में बता दिया कि तुम सर्वेंट की मेड भी होगी, तुम्हारे पास मोस्ट मैजिकल पैलेस होगा और तुम उसको गवा भी दोगी. You will be remembered for causing the greatest war of your time. You will bring about the deaths of evil kings and your children's and your brothers. A million women will become widow because of you. Yes, indeed, you will leave a mark on the history. You will be loved, though you will not always recognize who loves you. Despite your 5 husbands, you will die alone, abandoned at the end, and yet not so. तो बड़ी ही मिस्चीवियस वे से उनको जो है चीज़ें बताई गई हैं. अब जो महाभारत के बारे में जानते हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं ये बातें समझ रहे हैं, बट जिनको नहीं पता आने वाले चैप्टर्स में आपको सब बातों की जो है सच्चाई गहराई समझ आ जाएगी. After the voices fell silent, I sat stunned. Much of what they said, the part about 5 husbands, for instance, confused me. The rest filled me with despair. Oh, don't look so dejected, the sage said. How many women can claim to be envied by goddesses or become queen of queens? I don't want them if it means the other parts will be true as well. What good is it to own the most wonderful palace in the world if I have to lose it? And all those deaths, I refuse to be the cause for them, especially these. You don't have choice, my dear. I'll enter a hermitage. I'll never marry. His crooked teeth flashed. Destiny is strong and swift. You can't trick it so easily, even if you hadn't come seeking it today. वो कह रहे कि इतना आसान नहीं है, तुम बोलोगे और हो जाएगा, ठीक है. इन टाइम इट वुड हैव फाउंडेड यू, बट इन योर केस योर ओन नेचर इज गोइंग टू स्पीड इट्स प्रोसेस. व्हाट डू यू मीन? योर प्राइड, योर टेम्पर, योर वेंजफुलनेस. तो उन्होंने हिंट दे दिया. आई ग्लेयर्ड एट हिम. आई एम नॉट लाइक दैट. इवन द वाइजेस्ट डोंट नो व्हाट्स हिडन इन द डेप्थ्स ऑफ देयर बीइंग. But here's something to console you. Long after you are gone, men will remember you as the most amazing queen this land has seen. Women will chant your name to bring them blessings and luck. तो अब थोड़ा सा उनको दिलासा दिया जा रहा है कि आप इतनी टेंशन मत लो, आपका जो है नाम बहुत होने वाला है, आपके जाने के बाद भी आपका नाम जो है काफी देर तक लिया जाएगा. Much good that will do me. When I am dying alone, tortured by guilt, I said bitterly, men might value fame above all things, but I'd rather be happy. You'll have happiness too. Didn't you hear the spirit say you will be loved? Besides, I have a feeling you will grow to feel differently about fame. His jocularity angered me, but I controlled myself because I needed his help. I have heard that great seers have the power to change the future they foretell. Please, can't you shape mine so that I don't harm those dearest to me? He shook his head. Only a fool meddles in the great design. Beside, your destiny is born of lifetimes of karma, too powerful for me to change. But I'll give you some advice. 3 dangerous moments will come to you. The first will be just before your wedding. At the time, hold back your question. तो यहाँ पे जब वो जो क्वेश्चन को कह रहे हैं कि मत पूछना, तो यहाँ पे उनके 5 पति वाली बात से वो बच जाती. The second will be when your husbands are at the height of their power, at that time hold back your laughter. अब ये क्या है, ये पहले से रिलेटेड है, मैं नहीं बताऊंगा, आपका इंटरेस्ट खराब हो जाएगा. The third will be when you are shamed as you never imagined possible at the time, hold back your curse. Maybe it will mitigate the catastrophe to come. अब इनमें से उन्होंने अगर एक भी बात मान ली होती तो ये महाभारत का युद्ध शायद नहीं होता. मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूं, टाइम बताएगा. He poured He poured water on the fire, extinguishing it with a hiss, a signal for me to leave. But then, glancing at my unhappy face, he said, "You have borne the harshness of the prophecy well, so I'll give you a parting gift, a name. From now on, you will be known as Panchali." तो उनको एक नया नाम दे दिया सेज ने. Spirit of this land, though in your weddings you will leave it far behind. Though in your wanderings you will leave it far behind. He turned to a thick book made of palm leaves and opened it. "What are you writing?" I couldn't help but ask. He ran through his thick mana extracted the story of your life. If only you'd stop interrupting it, and of your 5 husbands, and of the greatest and the terrible war of Kurukshetra that will end the third age of man. Already you have kept me from it far too long. Go on. तो ये थे हमारे वो सेज जिन्होंने लिखी है महाभारत. कौन है ये सेज, मुझे जरूर बताना कमेंट सेक्शन में, यहीं पे पॉज करके बताना. एक्चुअली इन्होंने लिखी नहीं है, इन्होंने नरेट की है, लिख तो कोई और ही रहा था. तो ये किस किस को इसके बारे में पता है, यहीं पे वीडियो पॉज करो और कमेंट सेक्शन में बताओ. Done so quickly, Daima asked. He didn't have much to tell you, did he? What do you mean? Why, you barely stepped in and then stepped out. I am glad though. She dropped her voice as she pulled me towards the waiting cart. These sages with their sorcery, you never know what they might do to a young virgin. Inside the sage circle had time taken on a different gate. I climbed onto the cart, too preoccupied to feel its jolt. I peered through the shadows of the banyan one last time. The gloomy light played tricks on me. It seemed that there were 2 figures sitting in the circle. One of them was the sage, the other, why, he appeared to have an elephant's head. The cart lurched away before I could point him out to my nurse. तो ये बहुत बड़ा हिंट है, तो कमेंट में जरूर बताना किसने लिखी और किसने नरेट की है. Why did he say Daima was all curiosity? What did he say? Nothing bad, I hope. You look so solemn. I knew this heat would be too much for you. Remind me to get you some green coconut water when we go through the bazaar. Coconut water पियेंगे, कहते हैं गर्मी बहुत ज्यादा है. I pondered what to tell her. He prophesied that I'd have 5 husbands. I said finally. 5 husbands? She slapped her forehead in disgust. Now I know he's fake. Why, in all my years, I have never heard of a woman with more than 1 husband. You know what our Shastras call women who's been with more than one man, don't you? Though no one seems to have a problem when man sleeps with a different wife each day of the week. Can you see your royal father, proper as he is, ever allowing something scandalous like that? I hope she was right. If that part didn't come true, then perhaps the others wouldn't either. तो कह रही ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता, तुम क्या बात क्या कर रही हो, आज तक हमने कभी ऐसा होते हुए देखा है, कभी नहीं देखा. ठीक है, तो Daima have a sigh. He probably made up the bit about Kallu dying too. I'll probably be the one to perish first. The way that man tortures me day and night. What a waste of time this was. Oh, my aching back. Wait till we get back to the place. I'll give that maid a box on her ear that she won't forget for the rest of her life. तो कह रही नहीं, सब झूठ है, बकवास है, मैं जाके ना उस मेड को बताती हूँ जिसने हमें यहाँ पे भेजा था. Each night I thought of my name. Already I had insisted that everyone addressed me by it, Princess Panchali, a name strong like the land, a name that knew how to endure. It was what I had been waiting for. No matter what else came to pass, I would always thank the sage for giving it to me. I thought also of the palace the spirits had promised me. Most magical, they'd called it. I wondered how I would ever gain such a palace. I didn't want to contemplate the other prophecies. They were too disheartening, but they knock against my heart. I understood suddenly the unspoken questions the spirit had answered. Who would I marry? Would I ever be mistress of my own home? Would I find love? Were these the kinds of desire hidden in my heart? How purely they were. Things my maids might have wanted. Was I then no better than the women who surrounded me, wrapped in the cocoons of their unimaginative lives, not even knowing enough to want to escape, it was mortifying thought. तो वो कह रही है कि मेरे जो डीप डिजायर थे उनके आंसर भी कहीं ना कहीं स्पिरिट्स ने दे ही दिया कि मेरी शादी किससे होगी, क्या मेरा अपना घर होगा, क्या मुझे मेरा प्यार मिलेगा। तो जो यही सब तो मेरे आसपास की दासियां और जो औरतें यही चाहती है, क्या मैं भी उन्हीं की तरह हूँ, क्या मैं उनसे अलग हूँ। Other nights I consider the mystery of the book. The sage showed me the story of my life. How could such a book be written before I had lived the incidents it described? Did this mean that I had no control over what was to happen? Surely it wasn't. Otherwise, why did he take the trouble to warn me? I didn't speak to the sage again for many years, though I heard of him from time to time. I learned his name, Vyasa, the compendicious because of many hefty books he had written. तो वेद व्यास जी हैं जिन्होंने नरेट की थी ये महाभारत। लिखी किसने है अभी भी नाम नहीं आया तो कमेंट सेक्शन खुला है आपके लिए। व्यासा द सीयर born on a dark island of a union between an asterisk and a fisher princess. On my wedding day I would see him in the marriage hall seated on my father's right, his placement revealing an importance I hadn't guessed at. He gazed at me blinking mildly as though he had never seen me before. When I'd make my first great mistake his expression would remain unchanged, so that I wouldn't realize the enormity of what I had done until it was too late. Later, among my wedding gifts, I find a wooden box. When I open it, a familiar smell, wild and bitter, would rise from the powder inside. I had used it in Kandhav and later in the Kamya forest. Thrown on fire, it wandered away insects just as he promised, and nightmares as well. On those nights, my rough bark bed seemed softer, but no matter how much I called for them, for by now I had other wiser questions, the spirits did not return to me again. तो स्पिरिट्स वापस नहीं आई है। क्यों इस चैप्टर का नाम स्मोक है? क्योंकि स्मोक के अंदर जाके उन्हें अपना फ्यूचर जो है द्रौपदी को, या पांचाली के अब से उनका नाम हो गया, तो उनको उनका फ्यूचर दिखाया सेज वेद व्यास ने, और उन्हें 3 जो है एक तरह से वरदान दिए कि अगर ये 3 टाइम पे तुम चुप रह गई तो ये महाभारत नहीं होगी। तो क्या वो इसका पालन कर पाएंगी? क्या महाभारत नहीं होगी? वैसे तो हमें पता है महाभारत हुई ही है, पर क्यों वो नहीं चुप रही? क्या उनके दिमाग में उस टाइम पे क्वेश्चन नहीं है? बहुत सारे सवाल है जो खड़े हो गए हैं, जो आने वाले टाइम के साथ हमें पता चल जाएंगे। बाकी आपको ये बुक कैसी लग रही है कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताना, और क्या इंप्रूव किया जा सकता है वो भी कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताना।